Welcome to Wiretapped Truths. My name is Jesse Perez. Enjoying this cold outside weather while our guest is sitting in the sun.
About 78 degrees. It's pleasant. Yeah.
um,
Wasn't that bad today.
no, it's actually for New York. It's okay. 78 for them is not bad. 45 for us right now is
Yeah,
not bad.
exactly. Anything where I'm not freezing my balls off is okay.
Well, I got 72-year-old balls, man. I really got.
We got less tolerance to it,
You
right?
better
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
We're
joined with my co-host here, Leland, Mr. Wiretap Troops, and Jack Simmons. We started this Wire podcast 8 months ago. We've been doing recaps of the shows and guests, and all our guests have been lovely, from Debbie Young to Donna Adrian Gibson to the Naaman Julito McCullum, and today
Bob
we have
Ford to
yeah.
it's so many to
We
name.
have like 23 already, right? And today will be 24. Mr. Greg Williams, who played Detective Crutchfield. Um, I got a question for you because I was just looking at YouTube. Do you know the first time Crutchfield is mentioned in The Wire?
You know something? For some odd reason, because I know his name came up,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it might have been. Well, it had to be either season 1 or season 2. I didn't begin until season 3. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it was season 2.
Season 2. Landsman is laughing at the way uh, Crutchfield wrote prostrate. He wrote prostate.
right.
And he said Detective Crutchfield, and then we don't get to see you to a season later, which I just think that's such great writing on. I mean, I think The Wire is just the best dialogue and most detailed show we've ever seen.
You know something, man? I'll be quite frank. Auditioned for a whole bunch of stuff. Most of my work is voiceover, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact that I've been an avid television viewer and movie viewer, just like you guys. Um, and in terms of reality television and the characters that these folks casted, some who never had any experience, like Snoop,
Mm-hmm.
others that have been around for a while, and to get that kind of chemistry um, says a lot for the casting team, the casting portion of the show. Um, and I've been reminiscing about it quite a bit over since Jesse and I spoke. And I cannot recall um, any sort of public or even though we had to pay for it, programming had ever, you know, observed and presented and allowed people who may not have gone into Baltimore for a lot of different reasons to kind of sit back and see and observe the life and times of the people that were there at the time. So, um, the show was way ahead of its time,
For sure.
way ahead of its time.
For sure.
Yeah, it feels really lived in. That's one of the things I always say is that, due to like David Simon and Ed Burns and everybody that made it, like growing up in Baltimore, it just, you could tell it just has that, like, I don't think any show kind of represents a city more, I don't know, maybe It's Always Sunny with Philadelphia, but like it's the thing when you ask most people, like when you mention Baltimore, they say like, "Oh, have you seen The Wire?" Like it's
Yeah.
such a common
It's synonymous with the city.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it is. I'll say this. Your major metropolises like New York and the Bay Area, which is where I'm from, um,
Okay.
other large cities,
Mm,
they have a taste of what people saw coming out of Baltimore.
Mm.
But this was like, black coffee versus cream coffee. The black coffee was a straight shot right to your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think anybody that watched that show had a chance to get over their fears, possibly, of ending up in a place like Baltimore, because there were safe portions of Baltimore, just like there are everywhere else. But the dynamic, um, I know that people will probably run into Google and everywhere else to try and figure out what is Baltimore all about.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm.
when you develop that kind of curiosity, then you know that you've hit the right nerve. I
Yep.
mean, the show
Sure.
speaks for itself.
That's
What
true.
what part of the Bay Area, by the way, are you from? Because I've grown up. All my family lives in Oakland, and
Ah,
so.
born in Oakland,
Oh wow. Okay.
born in West Oakland, California.
Wow. Nice.
Are you familiar with San Pablo Avenue? Of course you are.
No, no. I mean, I probably have gone there, but I don't know the
Yeah.
street names well
Yeah,
enough.
San Pablo is like the longest street in the country. I mean,
Okay.
it goes through 4 cities.
Damn.
And I was born in the projects in 1953, and right around the corner from this school called McClymonds High School, where Frank Robinson and Veda Pinson and Johnny Mathis, the
Oh
singer,
shit.
who was a 6'7" high jumper.
Damn.
They called it the School of Champions.
Yeah.
I mean, Oakland was a very impressive place.
And Greg Williams. So
I don't rate with those guys, trust me.
yeah, Frank Robinson. I mean, he's one of the best players. But yeah, no, I was out there last October. Actually, I go there like every year. Like my uncle ran for mayor unsuccessfully back in like 2002 or something like that.
What was his
Uh,
name?
is Dan Siegel,
Can't see.
and but yeah, no, it's a beautiful city. Not a lot of people like go over to Oakland. I think everyone kind of stays in San Francisco, but Oakland's
Oakland's happening, man. San Francisco is nice.
yeah,
Don't
it
get me
is.
wrong. Everything about the city I do like. But it's just, all you got to do is jump on the Bay Bridge, man, and you're either in one place or the other.
That's
How
true.
often do you go back to California?
I go back at least once or twice a year because that's where all my family is.
Okay.
Most of my friends, people that I grew up with, I have to go back. I've got one sibling. I mean, let's face it. I went to El Cerrito High School, which is right down the street from Oakland, and then Los Angeles too. I mean, I went to college at UCLA.
Okay.
So that
So
whole
you
state of
California, yeah.
Yeah, the whole state is to me is the cream of the crop, man. It doesn't get any better than Cali. It just doesn't.
Now, Greg, I have a question. This is about your on-screen interactions with Wendell Pierce. I think it's one of the most almost like I won't call it unspoken, but you all's back and forth and rivalry between 3 seasons is hilarious to watch. Okay, did you all know each other off screen? Like
Wendell and I had never met before. Excuse me. We've been in contact with each other. I've checked him out a few times. He's checked me out a few times when we were still living in Virginia before we moved out here. Yeah, the dynamic of those two characters. Every time I got a script, we showed up for rehearsal. There was always going to be some sort of, mischief and some sort of, kind of needling, and both of them good cops.
Yeah,
but they just had totally different personalities.
For sure.
And I love the interaction between the two of us.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I mean, just every season there is something between you two that is just it's laugh out loud funny.
You just can't get along.
Yeah,
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, it's caustic in a way.
Jesse, I don't know if you were listening, but we were asking him about his relationship with Bunk.
Yeah, no, it's like everybody has that one coworker that they just can't stand, and you guys had that kind of like dynamic between each other because constantly like reopening old cases, and then Crutchfield like hanging up the phone on Carver. Like it's always like a petty rivalry with your characters, which is fun. And also one of the most funny scenes involving Officer Crutchfield is when Rawls throws his stuff off the desk thinking it was McNulty's, so then they have to like tell him, oh yeah, that was McNulty's desk.
Wait a minute. He said that's Crutchfield's desk. That is in season 1.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
No, I didn't. I swear to God, I didn't come on until the end of season 2, more than likely the beginning of season 3.
Wow.
Dang, but he does mention in season 1, Jack, that's Crutchfield's desk.
I wish I'd known that back then.
Oh yeah.
Damn, Jack, you're right, Jack. It is season 1 that we get a mention of him. Crutchfield sits here.
So what was it like coming onto a show like at that point? Because you were introduced season 3. The show had already been starting to get popular. Was it something like you had already heard about and were excited, or was it like a completely new project when you were
Uh,
on it?
I had no idea what the show was all about. I do know that Pat Moran was the casting director out there. I don't know if she's still with us, man. I pray she is. One incredible lady. But she'd give you this look at every audition I went to. And I used to ask other actors, how did she look at you when you came in there? And they would all kind of confirm that she just had this, I guess total focus, but her outward appearance was like, don't waste my fucking time.
Yeah.
You better know your goddamn lines, okay?
Brass tacks.
Otherwise, you got to get the hell out of here, okay? That's how
Don't
she
waste my
was.
time.
Yeah, no, she didn't waste any time. But what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, so it was like what you hadn't like heard about the show like
Oh,
prior to. Wow. Okay.
no,
Uh, um, yeah. What was like your acting experience like before that? Like, yeah, I was doing a little bit
yeah.
of research, but like, bring me back. Tell us the Greg Williams story.
Well, I tell you, it's kind of interesting, man. I was my parents got me into music when I was, I guess I was going to junior high school. Played stand up bass, tried playing the drums. Then I went on to join a theater group in my junior high school years, and then from there. Um, I went to high school, and as we all know, back in the 70s, the civil rights movement was going on. The Black Panther Party had just kind of rooted in the soil really deeply. And we had a black theater ensemble. And then after that, I played ball at UCLA, and I tried to play pro ball 3 times. And I'm still not convinced that I wasn't good enough. But
What
uh,
position?
I played defensive back and kickoff return.
Nice. Okay.
And so
Very
when that didn't
fast.
work out, I decided my sister dated this guy who was like the number one news anchor in the Bay Area at this station called KTVU Channel 2. And I had really not found myself at that point. And, my dad told me that his bank was closed uh, and that I'd have to seek my finances elsewhere. So I started working for this newspaper company as a circulation manager. Great job because I was by myself delivering papers to these kids, blah, blah, blah. And something, I don't know, man. One day I woke up and I said, something, man, if you can't play the game, maybe you can announce the game. So I started interning at Channel 2 in Oakland and got a chance to sit in when the weekend guy had a day off. And I think I went on there 5 times or something. And then this guy by the name of Richard Hall, whose father was Monty Hall. I don't know if you guys
Okay.
remember
Yeah, yeah.
his show.
The game
Uh,
shows.
Basically told me you got enough audition material now. You need to find, a real sportscasting job. Man, I end up in Midland, freaking Odessa, Texas.
Damn.
I mean, I drove there. I drove from California to Midland, Odessa, Texas, where everybody kind of talk like this here, and it's great. We just glad to have you on board. I hung out there for 2 years. Got a
Wow.
chance to interview Spud Webb. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah,
5'6" Spud Webb.
for sure.
And then from that point, something happened, and I won't go into too much detail, but yeah, I will. I will. We had a station party at Christmas time. Who is this going to reach, by the way?
Uh,
Who? I mean,
we're on. We're on.
we're on
You can send us.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
Well,
We're gonna send this to your old radio show. Is that
oh yeah,
okay?
do that.
No?
Do that. Yeah. Anyway, the news director's wife, everybody was drinking that liquor and doing whatever else they were doing, and she hit on me, and I told her no. And I came in that following Wednesday, and I had no job.
Oh
Damn.
wow.
So I ended up trying to sell mobile homes in Midland, Odessa, Texas. That lasted about long enough for them to send me off to a training thing in New York, and I had all my video tapes and all that stuff. So I went to New York and went to this conference. And while I was there, I was catching taxi cabs to all the news stations there.
Damn.
But I'm thinking they might hire me. But this is the number one, market in the country. So I was a little bit, naive. So then I did that, came back to LA, and found a couple of agents that were willing to bring me on as a voiceover actor. And then I went back up to the Bay Area and got several other agents, and things just started to click, man. I mean, I really didn't know a lot about the business. I did know how to read a script. I did know how to, make it sound real. And from that point, I've always been relying upon doing voiceover work. But while we were in Leesburg, Virginia, I was getting these auditions from Pat Moran and a few other agents in the area. And I went in, man, to Pat's office. I auditioned. I was shocked when they called me back 2 days later and said, they want you to come and do an episode. And in my mind, she meant a episode. So I thought when I went in and did what I did, that was it for me. And I ended up getting, I think, 19 episodes out of it.
It was 19. Yep.
Which still kind of shocks me because that's not what I expected.
Sorry, guys. My family doesn't want to talk to me. Then I start interviewing, and everybody wants to talk to me and ask me something. But I was listening, and it was Leland, when you were talking about the back and forth with Bunk. My favorite moment is when Bunk wants you to go back on the Omar case, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna be all over you on this one, the next one, But my problem with that is that Bunk was actually presenting a real problem. Like, Omar was being held without committing the crime. Like, don't you think Crutchfield should have taken that into consideration?
All I can say about that, the human side of me probably would have said yes. But man, when they give you a script, man, you stick to script.
I like how you're acting like he made that decision as himself.
No, well,
not like his character. How could you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking as your character. Don't
I'm
you
just kidding.
wouldn't your did you ever think what your character thinks? You know what I mean? I just thought.
Well, I mean, anytime somebody puts something in front of you and says, memorize it.
Yeah.
And for a fact that you may have different thoughts or feelings about it. You're just kind of obligated.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I also was like, oh man, he was such a dick to Bunk when Omar got killed. Like, he was like, you should have
let me give him the years, Bunk.
You should have let me give him the years, Bunk.
It's like there's that conflict between Bunk and Crutchfield again.
Yeah.
They have some funny moments, man. It's laugh out loud funny. Their interactions. It's hilarious. Like,
but you relate to Crutchfield because he just wants to solve the case. He's just like, look, just let me, when you solve the case and then somebody's like, hey, we need to reopen this. You're like, no, I don't want to. So it's like they were both not wrong,
Right. Well, I'll say this. I think that Bunk and Omar kind of clicked. I don't think Bunk hated Omar.
No.
I do think there was a soft spot in his heart, but he knew what Omar was doing.
Right.
And Bunk, obviously being the cop that he was, had to kick to the curb this companionship type of, feeling that he had for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the way the writers, man, sat down and put all this stuff together, had viewers wondering what was going to come next.
Yeah.
Or writing in their own minds, what was going to come next. And sometimes, the audience was right, and then other times they weren't. But it compelled them to become a viewer. I mean, the viewership of this show was
unbelievable. And just speaking about you and Bunk's relationship, even like where it started with him just simply clipping your tie while you were asleep. Like even that little bit, and then you clipping his tie at the end of season 3, which then led to season 4, where it's a real issue kind of thing. It's just little stuff like that where like the characters, their stories are so connected season to season. Like you can't, I don't know. I still to this day don't know how some of the nuggets. I don't know how they thought of some of the connections, and it's amazing. It's amazing for sure.
But you guys, you know something, when you're coming up, man, and you meet all kinds of different people, and you kind of come up with these snap judgments on who they are. You know, they're a little bit different than everybody else. And you look at them and say, boy, that's SOBO. That's weird. Okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you, in retrospect, you start seeing the genius in these people way back when. And it culminates in, you know, you end up saying 20 years later, I had no idea that person was damn near a damn genius.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of judging this person, which we're all guilty of doing.
For sure.
That's what made it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's what made like the characters, like you said with Bunk, like they didn't judge each other. I mean, him and Omar, when you strip down like the titles of like cop and criminal, it's like at the end of the day they're just two people that went to high school together. They're not that different than each other.
No, they're not. They're not. One has a badge and the other one is trying to avoid him.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, on any given Sunday, if they weren't both doing what they were doing, I really believe they would have been friends.
For sure.
I really believe that. Yeah.
And you had like a cop look to you. I think you know you had like a police officer look to you. I think that you know maybe Pat Moran is still doing fine. She's you know we're trying to get her on the show actually. We interviewed her son Brooke, and Brooke gave me an email address for her and said you know she would like to come on. So you know hopefully we're going to have her on, which should be a very special episode, you know. But everybody talks about her in high regard. I mean, everybody talks about like that whole crew in high regard, you know. Did you have any memories with Michael K. Williams?
I did, because I did more than a couple of scenes with him, and in a strange kind of way, man. It was like I was entranced by what it was he was doing on the regular. I've had some friends and that were kind of engaged in similar activity back in the day, but they weren't gay and they weren't. I don't know. There's something about that Omar character that was, you know, you looked upon him as if he were a negative Superman. I mean, this guy had no fear, man.
For sure.
You know, when he's walking down the street, you can hear the whispers. Here comes Omar. Here comes Omar. People start to scatter. But I think his character was a lonely character.
Yeah.
That's, you know, when I look back on the show from time to time, and I'm kind of summing up some of these characters that were in The Wire, I saw him really as being a very lonely person.
For sure. I mean, there's definitely many scenes where he either, like when he loses Brandon, he's by himself, kind of. And then when he's dealing with Dante and he has to go back and fight the Barcel organization, he's like, yeah, no, I don't want your help no more. I'm good. I'll do it by myself. Right. And then when Bootsy dies, he comes back and he doesn't bring his Puerto Rican boyfriend. It's just Omar. He's like, you know, I'm doing this by myself kind of thing. He was an interesting character on and off screen. You know, we've interviewed, like Jesse said, I think 24, you're the 24th person that we've interviewed from the Wire casting community, and a lot of them have these really, really heartwarming, emotional moments and connections with him. And it just seems like he was, how we viewed him on camera doesn't even compare to how people viewed him off camera. Like,
not even close. Not even close. I got a really attractive wife, and it's always occurs until I walk up at 6'3" and about 225 pounds. Everybody's hitting on it. Okay. But if I hadn't hit on her, she wouldn't have become my wife.
Right, for sure.
And he was just, you know, they started talking and everything, man. And, you know, he's the kind of guy that you would trust with your girlfriend.
Damn.
I mean, you know, not invasive, just calm, the just calm, cool, just his regular persona.
Mm-hmm.
Feel
I
relaxed
don't
around
know.
him.
Yeah, I don't know how he would, come up with this Omar character, but when they said action camera, this boy was on point.
I
And
think Greg, he is probably. I think it's the culmination of everything that the show has produced, even down, like we said, you and Bunk's interactions, just the character development, character relationships. But he's probably the single-handedly most, I don't want to say most famous character, if that's the right adjective. But he, like, when you think The Wire, why is The Wire fascinating? He might be the first thing that people think about. Like,
you
it's
damn sure don't think about Michael Crutchfield, okay? And I
yeah.
say that to
A
say
real
that
fan,
Hey,
sir.
all the pieces matter. Okay, we
no,
actually we interviewed the guy who played Michael's stepfather, Cyrus Farmer, right? And the comment said, and I really enjoyed this comment, so I'm gonna shout it out real quick. They said, I love watching your program, and the fact that you guys interview all the characters that, and they put in quotation marks, not as big roles, um,
mm,
is one of the reasons why I love watching your show, because like all the pieces matter, and you got interviewing everybody who made the show the greatest show of all time and stuff. And I really like that comment and stuff, which I really think is true. I think everybody played a part in it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
In preparation for this interview with you guys, I went back and because everybody didn't work with everybody. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there seemed to be a consistent thing where Monk and Holly and I were always going to be in some scene together. So there were quite a few actors that I never really got to meet on set. Um, and today, right before I knew this thing was going to happen, I started looking at some of these characters that I was familiar with. It was like Wendell and Michael K. Williams, Lance Reddick, um, Bubbles, Sonia, Robert Wisdom. It seemed, and Clark Peters, Brian Wilson. It seemed like we were always going to be in similar scenes, so we'd see each other often. Um, there out of all of the actors I worked with on that show, nobody came in there like their shit didn't stink. None of them.
Mm.
Everybody was down to the ground, friendly, had their lines memorized, were ready to go. But there was never anyone that appeared to be like, this is my goddamn show. Okay? Because actors sometimes can be a little bit full of themselves.
For
Yeah.
sure. For
And you
sure.
need that for a successful show. It's or like any because people work better when they're not like under pressure like that or have to like deal with some asshole.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah.
y-
Or
y-
competing with each other.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I don't know. There's always people talk about that whole thing of like the tortured genius where it's like you need some like directors had like really abusive personalities like Stanley Kubrick and everything. But at the same time, it's like I don't think them being really mean to everybody made their work better. I think if anything, it probably made just their set really difficult for people to work on. And it's
Mhm.
like I don't know. I think people just in general, you can tell when like a cast is relaxed with each other. It's
Mm-hmm.
like when you watch a movie and you see all like the blooper reels. It's like they had fun with each other and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't know if The Wire had a blooper reel. Actually, that's
Well, we had several.
I'm
oh yeah,
sure.
I
okay,
mean, and the thing was that everybody laughed at themselves. It's like you don't want to say, okay, cut, take 15, take 25. You don't want to have to get involved in that.
hmm
But in playbacks, it's like, okay, you can laugh at my shit because I'm laughing at it too. Don't
right,
ask me, don't ask me where in the hell those words came from. I know they didn't appear on okay, but I was trying to work my way through it, trying to find those lines. So yeah, it was always really relaxed. And I'm trying to remember exactly where the studio was. This place was huge, man. And it had everybody's office, the mayor's office, all this stuff was there. And people would just kind of walk around and then they say, okay, we're up in 10 minutes. And then everybody would kind of, like try to get into character. Um, but it was calm,
hmm
just calm. And then when they said action, the shit went wild and crazy. I mean, you
Yeah.
believe these guys.
Well,
They inspired your performance, you know?
I loved when
100%.
Crutchfield met Carcetti, and Carcetti said too many red names, and Crutchfield said, "Nah, we're good.
we good with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We're good. Yeah, don't worry
Like, get
about
out of our
that."
business, bro.
Yeah,
Huh?
that was
What? I know I never got any monologues, where I would talk for, I don't know, shit, two
Well, I
minutes,
think your
3 minutes.
I mean, your speech at Bunk. I mean, it wasn't a monologue, but it was kind of like, "Oh, I'm going to be all over you. Next case you get, I'm going to question you." That
For
was
sure.
a paragraph or two.
He
That's
said,
crazy.
Yeah.
we're not talking about the motherfucker that came up with what he said, 83 ways for the peanut. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Now you
I
remembering
watched that
shit.
scene all that time, man. I love that scene, man. When you
Yeah,
guys
No,
well, I
watch
know.
it.
they're hilarious. Them two are hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, Greg, you have a natural voice, obviously, doing sportscasting and voiceover work. Are you still doing voiceover work, like to this day? Like,
Until I die.
okay, because I mean,
Okay.
it's a natural,
Yeah,
a natural voice for it. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
It's like it's
I do a lot of political. So I'm waiting on. This is midterm elections that are coming up. And that's really, I got a studio up in my house here. And really, the idea that I got 19 episodes out of this show continues to blow my mind, because even though I started acting in junior high and high school, I never ever really pursued it, because I just didn't. I don't know. It was like I'd rather be off scene, off stage. Give me a script and I'll tear that motherfucker up.
yeah.
But it was just, I don't know. Um, I remember one time my father asked me, when are you going to get a real job? That shit was hilarious, because I came back and I said, Dad, let me ask you something. When was the last time I asked you for any money?
Damn.
And my father
that's good.
said to me, son, you keep on doing what you're doing.
Wow, no,
So,
that's super interesting. And like me specifically for sure. And I mean, I don't want to speak for the whole cast, but I know I'm super interested in voiceover work and stuff like that. So I definitely like to connect. We definitely like to connect with you about that off screen for sure. 'Cause I definitely,
that's right.
I'm super interested in it. Like I set up a profile where people can hire the three of us if they want three of us, because three different people, three different nationalities, kind of thing. So I'm like just starting at the process of getting into it, but it's something I'm supremely interested in. Like,
Right.
for sure.
Well, there's several agencies out here in Georgia. I'm in Screen Actors Guild and after, right? So, there's this creed that they expect you to follow, and that is you don't do non-union work, right? The whole process of voiceover work and so forth now is more leaning towards non-union people. And about a year ago, a friend of mine called me up and says, "Hey, man, you've been over 65 now for about 4 years. Do you know that you can do union and non-union work and not get penalized?" I
That's
said,
right.
"Well,
'Cause they have that rule, right? You can't.
you have to do union work." The tide is changing. The competition is somewhat stiff. And you can't be all things to everybody. You just can't. Every time I get an audition, I do it. I send it in. Sometimes I think it's the best damn audition I've ever done in my life, and I know they're going to call me, and they don't. And then other times it's like an audition where I just got to do a throwaway because I know damn well they're not going to call me back, and they call me back. So, you know how crazy this business is, man.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, look at Michael B. Jordan. Look at Michael.
Yeah, we talk about him all the time. Nominated for an Oscar, man.
Nobody could guess that from Wallace in the Pit.
But you see that all the time though. Like Ryan Gosling was like not like one of the movies with Wood Harris, where Wood Harris was the main star. Ryan Gosling was like a co-star in Remember the Titans. He had a minor role in that, and then next thing you know, he does the Notebook, and it's like he's like a main star, and you just Ben Affleck was an extra. He was on a PBS documentary when I was a kid. And then he does Goodwill Hunting, and they just blow up. So it's like
Hey,
you never
uh,
know. You never know.
my father used to say, if you're not there, you won't see what happened.
It's
For
true.
sure.
Just show up. It could be, again, I think every actor believes that they can do any role.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay? You got to have that self-belief. And if you don't believe, then you need to find an 8 to 5 where you're doing absolutely nothing but sitting in a room by yourself getting a check. Okay? You won't step outside your boundaries. I was the kind of guy who never wanted, or like my father was asking me, I never wanted a real job. That's just how my personality is. The day-to-day routine shit would have driven me completely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because there were plenty of opportunities to get a regular job. Um, and I think people are wired in a certain way to where they know where they can excel. And even if the odds are totally against you, or not, maybe almost completely against you, if you don't give it a shot, then you never know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to my grave wondering, why didn't I try that?
Mm-hmm.
I've tried some stupid things. I've tried a lot of things trying to find my niche, man. Um, even if nobody else believes in you, you got to believe in your own shit.
For
Yeah.
sure. I live by that motto right there. That is a life mantra of mine for sure. Like if you don't believe in yourself, watch somebody else. Like
They
you
Yeah.
won't.
know.
Because when you walk into a room, and you're confident, sometimes that's mistaken as arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing wrong with having 10% arrogance in your goddamn brain.
For
Okay?
sure.
You got to believe that you can do what you're there to get done. You got to believe that.
For
Okay?
sure.
Um, so, I meet people all the time, some of which have seen the show. And I'm kind of low key, man. I don't, you know, I know I was blessed to be on probably the best television series in the history of television. But 23 years have gone by, and all I can say is that I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
Did you
Uh,
notice like this resurgence of The Wire? Like I know my son told me like his friend, it was like he just watched it and he's like, oh, this is the best show ever. My son's 17 now, and it's like Watch Mojo just recently did a top 10. Watch Mojo does the top 10 YouTube. I don't know if you know Watch Mojo.
no, I
Well,
need to. Yeah.
Watch Mojo's like it's a YouTube site where they do the top 10
Mojo.
of like the oh you could do a top 10 for Watch Mojo. You should audition for them. Yeah, they do the top 10 of like scenes. It's a real famous website, and they recently just did the top 10 Wire scenes of like just randomly 23 years later.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Watch Mojo, the top 10 Wire scenes of all time. They just did, and Wood Harris was just on the Carmelo Anthony podcast, and they
Uh,
were asking him about Wire quotes and his favorite Wire moments and stuff. Why do you think there's this big resurgence in the Wire um, fandom?
something, man. I think some perfection. You never realize it completely, but I think in the case of The Wire, they were so close to perfection that it doesn't matter what decade we're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The same shit that was happening in those episodes, and
For
it's
Sure.
still are happening today.
Yeah.
Um, and it's for these younger kids, watching The Wire is like a no-no,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, even though things are quite more relaxed now, we see a lot of controversial things on television now everywhere. Everything is kind of like I don't know if it has anything to do with the Trump administration and
Somewhat.
with
It's
that.
visceral. It's a visceral energy politically for sure.
I think so. I think so, and I think people feel like if the top man in the country can say whatever he wants to say, uh,
Right.
that can be a positive and a negative.
Mm-hmm.
It can usurp all the progress and everything we made. I am very political, by the way,
Right. Same.
but I think that it's something that they may have even heard their parents talk about, or maybe their parents never saw it. And then one day, one of their buddies said, "Hey, man, there's this show called The Wire. I'm coming over to your house tonight. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna watch it." And then you know how word spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if something's damn good. Then
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, man, people are like tuning in. Might even walk up to me and not even knowing I was in it, saying, "Sir, you need to watch The Wire," because it
They're
was
like, I
that.
live The Wire.
But it's timeless, man. It's just
Yeah.
Sopranos the same way. It's
Yeah,
Well,
timeless.
also
yeah,
that's the thing with the streaming. It's timeless, and it's also like people now have a chance to watch it again when something. Like I noticed Mad Men was also trending recently because it's like now it's on HBO Max, so people have like a way of watching it,
Right.
that might not have had that before. And it's like I think it's a thing of like social media too. Like people post like a wire scenes on TikTok and then it goes viral. Then like other kids are watching, and then
Yep.
so they'll start like talking about it. That's how a lot of kids find out about anything. I used to work with like as a substitute teacher, and they asked me about movies, and I'd be like, "How do you know about Zoolander?" And they're like, "Oh, it was trending on TikTok." I'm like, "Okay, that makes
Yep.
sense."
And I mean,
That's
I saw recently too, Jack. It was Kurt. He was responding in the Facebook group to somebody about why their posts like weren't getting approved, and he listed how many people post in the Twitter and the Facebook group on a daily basis. Bro,
Probably a
it's
lot.
hundreds. It's
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands of like people that are like posting in his two groups, bro. It's a lot of the fandom. It'll never die. Like
yeah,
if
for
you are a
sure.
Wire fan, you'll continue to want to talk about it and engage with people in it. I mean, this is what it
Yeah.
is, kind of thing.
well, I'll be honest with you, man. This sort of technology that we have today, I'm glad I got 4 grandchildren and 2 sons and a wife that are pretty much well versed. I used to be well versed on
Mhm.
the internet and all this other kind of stuff, but shit, every day it seems to change.
every day
Uh,
is something new, man. It's AI is freaking AI drives me crazy. I'm like,
I hate AI because
yeah,
Yeah,
now
not a
I
fan
don't
of it
know
either.
what's true and
right.
what's false. I don't know, and that bothers me.
I think you got.
But
I think there's like you look at their hands or something. Now there's. I mean, we'll find a way to tell which ones are AI, but it's so
Yeah,
like
it depends on what's being generated. Like if it's a picture of somebody, it's different facial features and
I.
stuff and
But I remember
body
when it first.
features.
I
yeah,
remember when it first started coming out. Right, my dad is like, "Yo, the Knicks coach went off on the Knicks." Right, he's like, "Oh, he's
What are you
saying that
talking
this
about?
guy sucks and stuff," and it was like an AI video of
Yeah,
like the
it
coach
was
saying.
fake.
hey,
I was like, "Yeah," I
hey,
was like, "Dad, this is AI." He's like, "Oh, what's
hey,
that?" And
hey,
I was
the
like,
lip syncing. I mean, sometimes I look at shit and I say to myself, no.
Yeah,
And then I look at
Right.
that face and those lips and the word everything is completely there.
off.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
lips are moving completely with the words that are coming out.
yeah.
And it's like um, when people send me stuff, then I always ask them, especially if it seems like it's just completely unbelievable. And I'll send them something back and I'll say, how do you guys know that this is an AI? And which, of course, is another way for people to disseminate misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
that troubles me,
Yep.
uh,
yeah."
because
It's
in this
crazy.
day and time, people don't take out the time to research a damn thing.
No.
Nope.
They don't read, they don't follow up, they don't do initial, just
But
they people believe shit
Mm-hmm.
that they shouldn't believe, and they don't
Yeah.
but you
even
know
know it.
what? Like, I'm not super political, but I know you said you're big into politics, right? And it's kind of
Mhm.
like even before AI, right? That was always kind of my problem with the media, right? And you correct me if I'm wrong, because the media could present
A false
anything they want
narrative.
to any way, a false narrative. Thank you, Leland. With reactions from something, it who's to say the reactions was from that day or something,
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean, like it
I
could
mean,
be
even in
like,
the Wire with Carcetti on the newspaper, like that's
yeah,
Yeah,
pre AI,
like,
kind of
so
thing.
I don't know
yeah,
what's
yeah.
your opinion on the media, I guess, is my question,
Okay, now you guys know that I worked in the media. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
did sports, I did news and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And the key thing was to not editorialize anything. It's fact. It's
Right.
what you shot on your camera.
Mhm.
It's not some shit that you concocted in the studio. Um, I just feel like it's hard for me to, there's MSNBC or MS News or whatever it is now, and then there's
And
Fox.
it's now I
They're,
think it's called.
they're
Yeah.
two opposing journalistic suppliers of information, right?
Mhm.
I kind of know where Fox is, and I kind of know where MSNBC is,
Well, that's
and
the
I
thing,
do.
right? Because I could watch like CNN or Fox News, and they'll be saying the same story in two different ways. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And it's
yeah,
just a
yeah.
matter of, and
I mean, I think it depends though. Like some things are just blatantly like made up stories versus like having an angle on a story. Like I
Mhm.
think that's like the media has always been biased to where it's like, oh, this is my version of a story. But now sometimes like I'll just see stuff that just like didn't happen. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
then at the point it's like, oh shit. Like people, and like with your point with AI too, it's like people my own age. It's not an age thing now. Like it's like people just fall for shit that they
Yeah.
used to just not be able. People that are like very very intelligent people, I'll see like post stuff and I'll tell them like, hey, that's not true.
Yeah.
There was a clip of like some I forget who is like I think it was like Ted Cruz and like he got booed at the Olympics and they showed him but it didn't happen. He was never there.
Right,
And it's
right.
like they just made it up. And it's like, I don't like the guy, but like there's plenty of real reasons versus not
Versus a fake made up reason.
right, exactly. You don't have to
Yeah,
make shit
yeah.
up.
Now,
Um,
Greg, being in the media, and granted, it probably could have never happened because you were already cast as a cop as Crutchfield. But
mhm.
do you think that you could have? I know you probably think you could have, but like, would you have liked to play in season 5 in the newspaper role? Like, have you ever thought about if you had been casted in season 5 in the media themed season? Like,
Well, I think it would have been comfortable.
mm-hmm.
Um, but
And I
again,
should say cast in the media because you're in season 5, but yeah,
right,
cast
right,
in the
right.
media in season 5.
Well, I don't know, man. Again, somebody would be providing me with the information.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, I could kind of call back on my experience doing actual media.
You're right. Right.
But again, it's not that it wouldn't be my words. It wouldn't be my investigation. It would just be, doing what this character is supposed to do.
Right. I don't know.
Uh,
You and Gus in the same newsroom though, man. That'd have been kind of
well,
cool, man.
when he was speaking, I thought of the Gus Haynes line of our job is to report the news, not
Report the news, not
manufacture it.
Yeah.
manufacture it. Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
I'm a firm believer in that. Report it.
Uh,
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
manufacture.
and there's
Okay,
still a
and
lot of great news reporters out there. I think so some of the times they get like unfairly demonized by because they're trying to like report on what's happening and you know
well, I think once people lose faith, um, and again, most people have kids, they have jobs, they have to cook dinner, they have to wash clothes, they have to wash the car, and nobody really is taking out the time to fact check anything. And so we have this dependence upon what our parents used to watch, and we are influenced by what our parents used to watch.
hmm
And back in the day, I'm not saying that there wasn't some things that were reported that weren't a little biased, but I don't think it's happening nearly as much then as it's happening now. And that really concerns me um,
yeah,
because in the 50s and 60s, when the civil rights movement was happening, my parents were very much involved in it. They took us to rallies. They came home, they taught us Black history,
hmm
which oftentimes was oral history. And only because, whoever it was that was writing history, one felt the need to exclude us and all of our
hmm
contributions. So my parents made sure that we never looked at ourselves as being lesser than because we weren't being taught this in public schools or in private schools. Um,
yeah,
and now this is really no longer a reliable source for your youngins to look at unless you're there and you know better, then whoever's watching it at that particular time walks away believing a mistruth. That's
Mhm.
what scares me. That really truly bothers me. It Um, I have to make sure that I give everybody a chance because I was raised never judge anybody by the first encounter ever, because you
What?
don't want to be judged by the first encounter.
Right. Oh yeah.
Twice.
I was watching a show recently, and they said the teacher was in the classroom, and they were like, think about the worst thing that you've done. Now, imagine being judged as that as your whole life. And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Um, what got you so involved into politics? Was it a job that came along and then like you kind of got into it, or?
Well, I'll be honest. My aunt was a supervisor under Mayor Feinstein in San Francisco. Her husband was the first Black Superior Court judge in San Francisco. My what do you call it? Jesus, Greg. What's the word I'm looking for? He was like my godfather.
Mhm.
Was the first black toll taker at the
Yeah.
at the Bay Bridge. Then he became a police officer,
That's
and
awesome.
then he became assistant mayor under Feinstein. So he was a major influence on me, um, and so many other older people. I was one of these little rascals, man, that like being around old people.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I was like
Okay?
that
I
too.
get
Yeah,
that.
You
yeah.
know, you go to a family reunion and all the youngins come in and they go over where all the old people are and they say hi, get hugs, give kisses. Then they run off and to be with themselves and they don't stick around long enough to hear about all the aches and pains and all the other shit that these people are experiencing. I knew when I was about 10 years old that one day my knee would hurt, my back would hurt, that I might be missing a damn tooth.
Right.
So for me, it's like there's, I'm not saying I was a weird little kid because I wasn't. I don't think I was weird.
I'm with
Uh,
you. I was like that too. I gravitated
yeah,
towards older people and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. There was stimulation there that I couldn't get from. I still knew how to have fun and so forth, but
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and I just think that I see today, man, where kids don't even want to be around other kids. It's like
Yeah.
what fun is that? I mean,
Hmm.
I like going out and playing football, going out hitting the volleyball,
Yeah.
um, just chilling, riding a bicycle, doing wheel stands.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't think everything is cut and dry, but I just don't see. I think we're in for some really tough, interesting times going forward. Not even sure if we're going to ever have another president. I think we are headed towards dictatorship. That's just my own thoughts.
Damn.
An
Hmm. I
attempt.
mean,
An attempt.
that's not a uncommon thought, unpopular
I
thought
know.
right now.
Yeah.
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 Well, with the media now, there's this huge merger that happened,
Oh, yes.
where
Oh,
Paramount bought Warner Brothers, which is pretty
yes.
awful. And I'm sure you have some opinions about that. What's your whole take on that?
Well, you know something? When one huge uh, corporate company buys another huge corporate company, then now you've narrowed down the ideas and the perspectives and you narrowed it all down. You
Mhm.
squeezed out, maybe some other opinions or ideas, right? Uh, And then, well, I mean, you look at Russia, man. I mean, they have socialized television, right? It's
Yeah.
socialized, right? China, right? Nobody has an independent thought. If they do, they could very well end up either one being executed or put in prison for the rest of their life.
Damn.
So consolidation like that troubles me because I think it intentionally cuts down on independent thinking.
Yeah, true. And there's like, yeah, and people that go against the grain get punished, and that's kind of what we're happening now. As a
Yeah,
comedian, that's happened to Stephen Colbert
yeah.
and Jimmy Kimmel. They basically canceled that. So that is like a step towards fascism. Is when like actual comedians are saying like you can't make those jokes, and the government's now gonna cancel your show. I mean that, no, that is
That's
crazy.
fascism with a capital F.
Oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Because what is the creed of this country, man?
Mhm.
Right? I mean, freedom of speech, freedom of press, right? freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, right? And you got what are they called going all around Trump's boys?
ICE.
Nigga.
ICE
Oh,
arresting people that look a certain way. Okay, we got this thing called jurisprudence, man, where you go before a judge and hopefully 10 of your peers. That's the system. But now that system doesn't exist
Right.
like it once did.
mm-hmm.
So, I got grandkids and I talk to them and I worry about what kind of pressures they're going to experience because I experienced far more than I think I should have. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes you who you are in the end. I'm truly concerned, man. I really am
I,
truly concerned.
I
Damn.
get that too, because it's like, I don't know, when I was working at as an education, and not to like, bum everyone out, but when I was talking to a lot of the students that were graduating, they had this very like pessimistic outlook on life, and which is funny because it's like you're 17, you're off into the world. Like I remember graduating. I graduated in 2011, right? And like when I graduated, it seemed like things were getting better as a country in the world. That was right after they killed Bin Laden. The economy was rebounding. Things seemed like, and there was sort of a hopeful look into the future that a lot of us
Mhm.
had at that
Yep,
point.
yep.
And like, I just don't feel like they have that same positive out, which I understand totally why they don't, but it's kind of it's sad nonetheless,
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, hey, man, don't you want? I've got grandkids now, and when I had my son, my first son, um, all I could see was all the great things we were going to do together.
mm,
I know that he was going to be a knucklehead because his daddy was a knucklehead. So I expected things him to do some shit that he shouldn't be doing. But I also just saw how much joy I would have in spending time with him, watching him grow, watching him progress, listening to his different ideas, blah, blah, blah. But now, um, kids can still be raised that way, but they can be punished as they get older for just trying to say what's on their mind.
yeah.
Movies can be, book. You remember when they banned books?
Hmm.
And I think we're headed that way again, where they're going to start banning information because, a democracy says you should be free to do everything except hurt people, murder people, rob people. So long as you're living a decent life, it was encouraged. Um, but now, just because I don't agree with you politically, um, and you can actually come by and arrest me and never let me go before a judge and jury, something's
Crazy.
wrong. Something's wrong.
No,
It is.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's deep. You know,
But we
I
have we
the
have
real
five people. We have five people here who
yeah.
know five people there, who know five people there, who know five people there, who are going to have to go ahead and quit, bitching about shit behind the scenes and getting involved
Yeah.
and
Right.
encouraging others to get involved. Because once something goes too far, it's so damn hard to get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I hear people, talking about, well, I got a job. I got a job too. Maybe not every day, uh, but or I don't have time. You don't have time. What do you mean you don't have time?
Yeah.
Look at your ancestry, man. Look at your
Yeah,
people
for
that
sure.
came before you, man. They made time, which made your life better.
For
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
sure.
So don't be selfish with your time because complacency leads to things you don't want to deal with.
For sure. Nah, that's for sure, for sure. It's great
I'm
goodness.
Yeah.
gonna my final question will be relating to the wire and this actually because so I heard the mayor that Carcetti was based on what's his
Mm.
name,
Mayor O'Malley.
O'Malley, was not too happy with the wire at the time. Do you remember like any of this like controversy? And we kind of talk about on the show like, well, Jack like kind of brings up like why was he so mad? Like O'Malley, I mean, um,
Carcetti.
Carcetti's shown with good intentions of getting into it, and I was like, well, maybe because he did seem incompetent at times. Maybe that was kind of why. Well, do you know any of this controversy? Have you heard about like O'Malley and stuff? And
You know
your
something, man. Not having grown up, not having spent time in Baltimore, except for the few occasions, where I came
mm,
up to work. I'm not really familiar with O'Malley. Um,
okay,
I will say that everybody's got a take on something, right? And if people want to, I guess, smear O'Malley or you know, then I say that's your constitutional right to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take that away. You're not putting your hands on this person.
Right.
You're coming up with an idea and an opinion. Um, and what I want to be able to do, man, is be able to sit down and watch something that's entertaining, watch something that is also informative. And then it's up to me whether or not I want to believe it or not. If it's fiction, nonfiction, I just don't want things to be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear everybody's opinion, whether I like it
Or not.
or not. I want to hear opinions. Um, so I didn't mean to put a damper on the persona as we got
I
to.
I I
No,
I,
no,
I
it's
got a kick.
interesting.
I got a kick out of that. I mean, I thought this was a deep episode. I think it's
Probably the most informative interview that we've had in terms of
Yeah.
outside of the wire. Yeah,
And
definitely unique.
Greg, before we go, I do want to ask you about something that I've been dying to ask you. As a huge gamer, what was it like voicing in Fallout? Cause,
Hey, listen, that is very similar to The Wire. Nobody, I had no idea, man, what that game was all about.
mhm.
I had no clue. I just knew it was a gig. And then
That's
years
fair.
later, when this thing became big, I was shocked. I mean, I still don't really get it. I mean, I can pull it up and listen to the voice I use or whatever. I didn't know that I was going to become a part of that history.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so in a way, I'm thankful. Because I've had folks that somebody's told that I was the voice of, Sheriff, what was his name? Sheriff something, I don't know, 30
Wait, I
years
have
ago.
it right here. Lucas
Lucas
Sims.
Sims.
Lucas Sims. That's right.
And it's fascinating. But this is why I always encourage people: show up, take a look, take a gander, imagine yourself doing it. If you can't, do it anyway, because you just don't know where it's going to go. Because again, man, Fallout 3 didn't mean a damn thing to me when I did it. It's just
Mm.
I didn't know.
Another gig, right?
Yeah, it was just another gig.
That
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So, but hey, listen,
It's
I
true.
really appreciate you guys reaching out. There's a buddy of mine um, who played Holly. I want to give you his phone number.
Okay, we'll get
His name is Brian Wilson.
I'll get Jesse
And
to get it
Brian
from you,
and
Mr.
Bunk
Greg.
and myself appeared in a lot of scenes together.
Okay.
And Brian's dealing with a few little medical issues.
Oh, bless him.
And I think he does a lot of theater, man. This brother is a consummate actor.
He was
Just a
in We Own
regular
This City,
guy. Just see
Greg.
him walking down the street. I love
He,
this guy.
he was in We Own This City.
So I'm going to give you his phone number. Don't tell him I did. He will be honored, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, we would love to
Somebody
talk to
got a
him.
piece of paper and a pen?
Here, we'll get it off camera.
I can't
We'll get
hear
it
you.
off camera.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Leland is saying that. Do you hear us now?
I don't think he can hear me, Jack.
Oh,
Call me.
anything?
Somebody?
I don't think he can hear me. Yeah.
Oh,
It's weird.
okay. Little technical difficulties. You hear us
Greg,
now?
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm saying we'll get the number off camera. We'll get the number from him on camera. Yeah.
Did you hear everything I said about
I
Brian?
did. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. Yeah, we'll get the number off camera.
All right, guys. Listen.
And thank you so much, Greg. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
and
thank you,
I'll
Greg.
get
This has been a
Jesse
great
or we'll
interview.
connect you. And if you're working on anything, if you have a link where people can hire you for voiceover work or whatever, send it to Jesse and I'll plug it in all of our videos. I'll put it in.
Yeah. I really appreciate that.
For sure. No, for sure. Everybody that we've interviewed, they have anything that we can promote or further what they're doing now. I put it in the long form description of every long video. So
And if
Okay.
there's one
Okay.
thing you could
So
do
what
for
do
us,
I need to do actually to take
Just
advantage of that?
send it to Jesse. Send if it's a link where you're hireable. It's like hire Greg for voiceover work or whatever your link is for you to be hired for any services you offer. You can send
Okay.
that to Jesse. Yeah, I have Jesse reach out to you and get it from you. It's no big deal. We'll get
Much
it from you.
that would be much appreciated. Is there any
Sure.
way I can access this interview?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put it out probably within the next week. It'll be out online within the next week. It would be out on our channel. So as soon as we post it, I'll send it to you.
Okay, man. Much
But I can
appreciated.
it'll probably be a long video. It's probably a big file, but I can see about trying to send it to you early before we release it.
Fantastic.
If you want to, yeah.
I
Let
enjoyed
me figure out how to send it because I know it'll be a big file. But I can probably send it to your email through Google Drive. I'll probably send it like that to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you made a senior citizens day today, fellas.
Man, that's a
thank
blessing,
you, sir.
Greg.
Made
Man,
our
thank you.
day.
We appreciate your time on this
I
Sunday.
mean-
Jack, you had something you want to say before I
Oh,
close?
I was just gonna say because you have such a badass voice, and we
Can't
asked.
hear it.
Can you hear us now?
No, I think he's going in now. He was going to
All right,
ask.
that's all right.
Yeah, he was going to ask if you could say, please like, share, and subscribe to Wiretap Truths, Mr.
Oh
Greg.
man,
It's
no
all right.
problem. Just tell me how to do it.
Oh yeah, if you want to just say that,
Just tell
this
me
could
how
be
to do it.
helpful.
Send that along to me. Whatever you guys want me to do,
Sounds
I'm
good,
in
man.
favor of.
Thank you so much for us, and
Yeah.
have a great weekend, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Greg. I'll get Jesse to reach out to you and get your friend's information, Detective Holly, and for him to get your link for us to post it in the future videos. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right,
fellas.
Mr. Greg. Thank you so much, man. We have
You
a good
will.
one. We appreciate you. Blessings.
Be well and stay involved, please.
Thank you. We appreciate you, Greg. Have a good one. All righty. This has been another phenomenal episode of Wiretap Truths. We appreciate our love, all the support. We just want to give a shout out to our executive producer, Miss Donna Adrian Gibson. We thank you. We love you so much. Also, Miss Debbie Young, thank you. We love you so much as well. We appreciate everything you all do for us. Kurt from All the Pieces Matter and Ziggy's Duck, the Twitter page. We appreciate your love and all the support as well. I'm just going to go through a quick cast member list of shout outs. We would like to thank Kamal Bostic Smith, who was the opening actor on The Wire. You can reach him on his YouTube at DRAHCIRTV. Julito McCullum, who played Naaman in season 4, you can go to his Twitter, I am Julito, for The Wire hoodies, and he has an album out, I believe it's called 33 Summers. You can reach out to Chris Clanton, who plays Savino. He has a book called The Law to Finessing Me. Maestro Harrell, who played Randy, you can go to his YouTube. He has a YouTube channel at Maestro Harrell, and he does a Wire Wednesday every Wednesday. So they stream, they game, and they talk about the Wire. It's good stuff. He has the actors that play Donut, Kennard, Dookie. He's got a few actors that come on there every week. If you're a Wire fan, tap into the YouTube. Nakia Dillard, who was in season 3. If you want to get involved in acting, he's got an acting masterclass that'll be in the link below. Alonzo Wilson, who was behind the scenes, a costume. He was the costume manager, I believe. He has a nonprofit organization, SMPRise.org. Support the artist Amanda Johnson, who was the assistant costume designer. She has a gallery and a boutique in Delray Beach, Florida. She can be reached at www.amandajohnsonstudio.com. Mr. Andre Severino, who was the police consultant on We Own This City and who has a podcast on YouTube and his podcasting with John Bernthal. The Silverback Chronicles podcast, please check him out. He's the reason that We Own This City was so authentic. They got his insight as a Baltimore cop. And then last but not least is Mr. Trey Shaney, who played Poot on The Wire. Please support his music, merch, apparel, and his A-Body fragrance at shaneyway.com. We can be reached for any voiceover work at wiretaptruths@gmail.com or just message us through YouTube or through Facebook or at 678-938-5398. We appreciate all the love and support. We have released at this time 555 plus videos, and we are approaching 150,000 views. So definitely appreciate all the love, all the support. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, Wiretap Truths. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.